Hello everyone, Prentice1215 here, and today is a big day. This is kind of a special video because today, the day you're watching this is actually tomorrow for me. But, so tomorrow, today, whichever day you're watching it, regardless of that fact, December the 15th, 2018. It has now been 10 full years since I started this little endeavor, this YouTube channel of mine, and it's been a crazy ride. I can't believe I'm actually here doing this stand-up, making this video right now. I can't comprehend that it's been 10 years since I've been doing all of this. It's like I remember, it seems like yesterday I was taking this Republic gunship that's sitting right here and putting it on my desk that I would do my schoolwork on in my bedroom, and I'd take this cruddy little camera and a couple of little Lego clone troopers, and I would make really bad stop motions. It seems like that was just a couple weeks ago, but that was 10 years ago now. It's kind of crazy to think about. My plan for the year, back in January, I plan on making a whole slew of videos where I looked over a whole bunch of stuff that I've done on my channel. I only ended up making one of those over the lumpy files, but I didn't actually end up doing the rest of them. Sort of kind of regret that, but the opportunity to make those kind of got away from me as I got busy working on my other projects, like Bionicle Reiterated Season 2, Lego Star Wars: The 45th Attack Battalion, which premieres after this video goes up. So if you're watching this when this first goes live, stay tuned for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I guess I'll just kind of quickly run through and give kind of my brief thoughts on these things that I did a long time ago. I don't want this video to be too long, but so things really started for me when I started doing the first Transformers vs. Lego Star Wars stuff. It was originally filmed on a great big camcorder. I go more in depth on this stuff in the making of TF vs. LSW episode 9 video. That's in my behind the scenes playlist. So if you want the full story, then go watch that. I go more in depth there. But that's where that series started, and then that was really what got me on the bug of, oh, I want to make stuff and I want to put them on the internet. It took a while to actually put that stuff on the internet because I did that in the summer of 2008, and I ended up uploading it in the summer of 2009. So it took a while. And then from there I started doing one of those a year up until I got to TF vs. LSW5. And you can see as the years go by, those first 5 years I slowly got better. So, but the thing was that they weren't really this great big monumental project up until the fourth one, because up until then they weren't very long. So I'd work on them for like a week, and so then the other stuff I did in between time there up until 2011 was the original Lego Star Wars: The 45th Attack Battalion, which was really my first stop motion. It was my first stop motion series because TF vs. LSW did not start out as stop motion. It started out as a 10-year-old playing with his Transformers with a video camera sitting on a cabinet filming the entire thing. So it didn't start out as stop motion. But so 45th Attack Battalion was really my first stop motion thing ever. And I had dabbled with it before. There was a series of shorts I did called Republic Battles, which was essentially just aping the base attack plot premise that Pizza Movies popularized back in 2007, 2008. Those are some nostalgic videos. Those were really my early inspirations, and the reason I did those early Republic Battles and why I wanted to move on to do more story-based content like the 45th, very inspired by the Clone Wars, which was on back then, and not a good series. 45th, not a good series, but it's one of those things you can see me grow with the stop motion and my techniques as it goes on, and then I just kind of stopped doing that because I got bored. To this day, actually, there's an episode that I was in the middle of production on and then I stopped doing because I ended up deciding to do this like 3-episode Mandalorian arc that featured Death Watch. And I did the first 2 of those episodes. The third one, I think, did have a script written. And then two of my friends, they were going to be guest voices on. They did a couple guest voice work for me on that show before. And we actually recorded some of the early dialogue for that, but then I never got around to finishing it. So to this day, on my original voice recorder, I've now upgraded mic equipment. But on my original voice recorder, I used for years. I've still got those audio files. I think they'll just always remain on there, and I'll never touch them because I kept them on there because I eventually said to myself, I'm going to get back to making this, and it just never happened. So, 45th was really the first series I ever worked on, and then it also was the only series I ever worked on for a while because TF vs. LSW became such a monumental thing that I was doing every year. So 4 and 5 took so long to make both of those. I mean, I worked on Revenge of the Fallen, which is 5, for those of you unaware. I worked on that for 13 months. 13 months. Basically all the way through. I worked on it a little bit every single day for about 13 months. That is a long time, people. So, and during that time, I didn't really do much else. I did a couple small little things here and there, but there wasn't really too much else going on. So, TF vs. LSW 5 launched in December 2013, 5 years ago now. And then, of course, that was kind of a big celebration of my first 5 years on YouTube. I couldn't believe I hit the 5-year mark, and here we are at the 10th. And so from there, I really started doing more video game stuff. Because I realized, oh, if I want to work on these larger projects, then I need to have something in the meanwhile to make sure there's content always coming up on the channel. And that was where the video game stuff started because the current generation of consoles launched in the fall of 2013. I'm a PlayStation person. I, of course, got a PS4. PS4s have built-in capture cards, so I started playing a lot of Battlefield 4, and I was watching funny Battlefield moments from other YouTubers. I'm like, I want to do some too. So I ended up doing those. I think there were 31 funny moment videos in all of Battlefield 4, and there were like 28 Battlefield Hardline videos. So that was a lot of fun to do those. It was fun. It was really a new experiment I'd never done before. It was like, oh, I'm playing video games, and I'm recording this footage, and then I'm putting it up. So I'm working on stuff for the channel while also having fun and just relaxing at the same time. So that was kind of an interesting thing, and I still do that today with stuff like Rainbow Six Siege and Star Wars Battlefront 2. New video coming soon, by the way, following Battlefront 2. It's been a while, so it'll be good to have another one of those going up. So then I started shifting from realizing these projects of mine, they take too long. I need to dial it back a little bit, and that was kind of where LEGO Star Wars Troopers was born from. Because in the fall of 2014, Star Wars Rebels launched on Disney XD. Great show, I really enjoyed it, and I decided that because the first season really took place mostly on the fall. So I'm like, oh, I can make this stop motion series where we see the Stormtroopers' perspective of these episodes, and it can be a funny little comedy series that it's easy to bang out and get 7 episodes released very, very quickly. Of course, in season 2 of Rebels, they moved away from the fall, and I really kind of panicked. I'm like, oh, am I just going to do one season of the show? What am I going to do? But I found a workaround. Now it's more of a dramatized series. And I'm working on stuff for season 4 right now, so that'll be fun. I hope you guys enjoy that when it comes out eventually next year, obviously, because we're in December. So it's not going to be ready for the end of this year, but look forward to more Troopers in 2019. And then the Lumpy Files 2, that was something that came out in 2015, and that was kind of the last large movie-type project I did. That ended up being an hour long. And of course, Lumpy is a character from the TF vs. LSW films that he was created by my friend Kayam. It's just a character I fell in love with. He's so goofy and zany. And it's like, I want to do side stories with this character. So I did the first Lumpy Files. It was terrible. I quickly realized it was terrible. It was really the first time I looked at some of my stuff and I went, this is really bad. And so then I very quickly decided I want to do a sequel and I want to make sure it's good. And then so when I was in the middle of doing TF vs. LSW 5, I was also brainstorming ideas for the sequel. The sequel, I think, is decent. I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's good. I think it's decent. There's still a lot of stuff I like about that, but there's also a lot of technical limitations that really make it fall flat in a lot of ways for me. There was a lot of chase scenes, and I think a lot of those chase scenes are really kind of meh. So that's unfortunate, but that was Lumpy Files 2. I still enjoy it. I mean, mostly because it was basically me and my friends getting together and we're having a fun time recording lines, and it was really the last time we got to do that because in 2012 we moved from my original studio in Oklahoma to here, where I've been for like the last 5-6 years now. So all of this, while I still don't like the fact that we moved. This entire shelf right here and like the Bionicle shelf over there and all of my Transformers in my room. The reason I have such a large collection nowadays and I can do the things I do is because I actually have a dedicated room studio that I can do this stuff in. So that has been a silver lining to the move, even though I still miss my friends dearly. So 2015, moving forward, that was when, I just mentioned the shelf over here I've got, that was when Bionicle came back. Bionicle, big part of my childhood. Man, I'm glad it came back when it did, because I was really starting to feel nostalgic hard around 2014. Because the first 3 Miramax Bionicle movies were on Netflix, and I binged through those in like 2 days. And I got all of my G1 stuff out, and I got them reassembled for those that were in pieces, or mostly. There's a couple that are still missing pieces because I can't find those pieces, but they're reassembled as much as I can get them. And Bionicle G2 launched, and man, was I so happy. I teared up when I went to Target on the 2nd of January 2015, and I saw the first wave of G2 sets sitting there on the shelves. That was such a great moment. And then G2 sucked hard. Very unfortunate. Awesome toys. That story wasn't good. So when it was canceled in 2016, that was after I had wrapped up Tia vs. LSW, the series, which was the remaining vestiges of ideas I had for where I could have gone with that. And the series I think is kind of okay. Like I said, it was the remaining ideas I had of where I could have taken other movies, but I just couldn't think of anything to really flesh out those plots, so that's why it became a series. It's like, here's little 3-episode story chunks. And then the 3rd season, that was really kind of the closest I got to a movie, because it got to be about 45-50 minutes long, but it still wasn't a full-length movie like Tia vs. LSW5, and that kind of wrapped up that franchise, so to speak. And so when I finished up that, I was really kind of wondering, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because, Troopers, of course, I've got that, but I mean, it was like, that's only one series, and that was still when I was in the transition period of what is Troopers going to be? Is it going to remain comedy? Is it going to start veering toward more series? And that was really when I got the idea to do Lego Doctor Who, because I got into Doctor Who in 2015, and then that was also around the time they were releasing Lego Doctor Who stuff, so I'm like, I know, I'll do Lego Doctor Who. And so I was starting ideas for that, but kind of like with Tia vs. LSW, the series, I had ideas, but I couldn't really figure out how to iron them out that great. I couldn't get the stories exactly where I wanted them, so the Lego Doctor Who shorts, the specials as I call them, it's not a series, it's a number of specials I did that are kind of have this cohesive one big story arc between them. That's an interesting thing I did, because a lot of those episodes ended up being rushed because I was starting college, so I'm away from my studio a lot of the year nowadays, so I didn't really have much time to work on them. I could make those scripts as extravagant as I wanted them, but when I came to actually filming them, I kind of rushed through filming because I'm like, I need to get this done, I have a limited amount of time to get this done, I need to get it done. So some of the episodes kind of suffered because of that, and then also the writing wasn't that strong on some of them because I started work on Bionicle Reiterated because G2 wasn't that great, and I'm like, they could have done this with the story, they could have done that with the story. Oh, if you combine these two things, then they help explain each other. And I was like, why? Someone needs to do this. Oh wait, I could do it. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. So Bionicle Reiterated writing the first season really kind of overrode everything else on my channel for a while. Not that you knew it, because it took me about a year to get that first season out. I started writing that and I started the idea stage in September of 2016. The first season didn't launch until December of 2017. So I worked on that first season for a long time before anyone else knew about it. So, but because of that, Lego Doctor Who kind of got the short end of the stick there, and I didn't spend as much time developing that, and so I think it really kind of suffers because of that. But oh well. I really, really enjoyed the second episode of Lego Doctor Who, Graves in Greenland. I think that actually turned out really, really well. I'm very happy with how that turned out. And then there's at least one moment I like in each of the following episodes that I think is really good. Like the beginning of episode 3 with all the strange creatures added in. And, you know, it's like, you know, the music and the line deliveries I feel like that I did, feel like that gave it a really good solid energy. The rest of the episode, but up until that title sequence, solid work, I felt. The next episode, that had a nice chase sequence. Again, set to music, the energy was up and everything. Dentist of Doom, that was really the one that suffered the most from filming, because like there's shots where they're in a diner and you can just see the lamp that I used for lighting sitting outside, because I just couldn't be bothered to green screen that out or get rid of it in post. So that one kind of is like, that one I'm a little more on. There's some stuff I like about that, because it does introduce the Doctor's guitar. And then of course, then there's the last episode, which was really originally supposed to be the last 2 episodes, but I really wasn't, I was very demotivated into working on it at that point. But I had those 2 episodes filmed, so I had to figure out what to do about them. So I ended up merging the 2 into 1, and I think the final package is good. And then of course, you know, and that revealed that these shorts had kind of been, these specials had kind of been explaining where the 12th Doctor got his guitar that we saw in Series 9, and moving forward for Peter Capaldi's era for Doctor Who. So I kind of wish those turned out better, but, you know, I was busy working on Bionicle, and so, you know, so now we're kind of catching up to modern times, to present day. The 3rd season of Troopers launched this, it was kind of a staggered release, because I released 1 episode in November of last year, and then the rest of season 3 was released in the summer of this year, 2018. And that was interesting. Again, those are some that I like the writing on, but the last episode specifically kind of fell apart for me in the editing and the filming, because my camera died. I've got it. Hold on. Here it is, right here. So this is the digital camera. I'll come up closer. This is the digital camera I used from 2010 up until earlier this year. I used it for a good solid 8 years, but finally the shutter died, which is, you know, the thing that actually takes the pictures. So if that doesn't work, you know, it's kind of busted. I still have it. It's completely worthless. It's just a big paperweight at this point, but I keep it because nostalgia. So I got a new camera. I had to get a new camera earlier this year. So this is the new camera. It's basically what the old one was, but it's just a new model. It's a little more modern. And the thing with it is that, you know, I had because it's a little more modern, it's a little more high def and technical, so I had to change up the way I filmed some stuff, because with this new camera I can't actually get as close to the minifigures as before. So that last episode of Troopers especially, I was really still trying to figure out how that camera worked, and so then I had to cut some corners and really just kind of try to get the filming done as fast as possible. So that last episode of Troopers that I released, I think, kind of suffers because of that. But by the time I got to filming the rest of Reiterated Season 2, so that will be interesting of note for Bionicle Reiterated Season 2. Episodes 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 were all filmed on the old camera. But then 15, 16, and 17 were filmed on the new camera. So, you know, you've got those black bars on the screen. Though, starting with episode 15, those will disappear, and we'll have glorious full screen, because I'm filming in high definition now, people. Woo! So that's that. But by the time I got to Reiterated Season 2, filming the rest of that, and filming for the 45th Attack Battalion, the reboot, I've got it under control, and I know how this camera operates, so I can film things better. And so the last bit, so 45th Attack Battalion and all of Reiterated Season 2, I think are going to be really, really exciting, and I think you guys are really going to like them. 45th Attack Battalion, the reboot, I'm especially excited for, because about 2 years ago, when I realized, I was like, oh, this is my 8th anniversary on YouTube. The 10th is coming up pretty quick. I need to do something to celebrate that. So I really started thinking, what am I going to do to celebrate? Well, I can do some sort of video like this that I'm doing now. But also what I can do is I can reboot 45th Attack Battalion and try to give that a fair shake with, try to actually tell a story. So that's where this rebooted film comes into play. Dust flying around. Comes into play, and I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. That's one of those things where when I was editing it, I thought back to when I was doing the original version back in 2009, 2010. It's like, this is stuff that would blow my tiny little 11-year-old mind away completely. I'd be like, what, back then. So I'm very, very proud of it, and I can't wait for you guys to see it coming up in just a little bit. Unless, of course, you're watching this sometime later down the line, in which case you can go onto my channel and watch it right now. So that's kind of where we're caught up. That was just kind of I said I didn't want this video to be very long. We've been going for about 20 minutes now. Oops. But that's kind of where we're at right now. Reiterated Season 2 is coming. I will give the release date right now. The first episode, episode 10, the first episode of Season 2 will launch on December 29th, 2018. So that is just in about a little under 2 weeks. It's going to be not this upcoming Friday, but the next Friday. So the first Friday after Christmas will be episode 10 that will launch, and then I'm pretty confident at this point that I will have epilepsy. I don't want epilepsy. I will have episodes 11, 12, and 13 ready to go to be released in the weeks following. Episode 14 is where it gets tricky because that's a very long episode. So I might take a mid-season break after episode 13 just so I can get episodes 14, 15, 16, 17 done. So those might be launching later in the spring, but season 2 is almost here. So Bionicle fans, you're in for some good stuff. So yeah, so we're all caught up. That's kind of a plan for the near future, and I think it's time to get kind of emotional because I've got a lot of people to thank. First of all, my immediate family, that being my parents and both sets of grandparents. All this stuff you see behind you here, all the stuff you've seen on the channel, all the video game stuff I've ever done, the reason I have big shelves full of Bionicle, and all of this is possible because of them. They have been so supportive of my hobby over the last 10 years. And gosh, I am actually getting emotional over this. I can't believe that. They have been so supportive of this. Oftentimes when no one else was. Because that's a whole other video I can make if I wanted to. I don't think I ever will. But I had a rough time in middle school because it was this, it's that weird transitional period where you're not a kid anymore, but you're not an adult either. And a lot of kids were saying, "Oh, we're mini adults now, so we're getting rid of toys and stuff." If you still like Lego, you're a loser. And that was really around the time I was really getting into this stuff hard, and kind of experiencing the TFOL teen fan of Lego community for the first time, and Transformers and all that stuff. And they were giving me such a hard time about it, but I would lock myself in my room, and I'd make an episode of 45th Attack Battalion or something, and I'd show my parents or my grandparents, and they'd go, "Hey, you're getting better. This is getting to be pretty good." And then by the time I released TF vs. LSW Revenge of the Fallen, and it was an hour and a half plus, they were blown away, and I think that was kind of a turning point for them. They're like, "Okay, no, this is something he really cares about, and he could turn into a career someday." And now I am in college for filmmaking because of all this stuff. I want to become a filmmaker and do something like news or make television or films because of this that I've been doing, and they've been so supportive. I cannot thank them enough. I mean, that's a Christmas present. That's a Christmas present. That's a Christmas present. That's a Christmas present. I mean, birthday, Christmas. I can point at all this stuff. It's like most of my Ninjago stuff up here is birthday stuff. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was all birthday stuff from this last year. The Doctor Who stuff is all Christmas stuff. So I cannot thank them enough for providing me this opportunity to do this. Next, I have to thank Jake, Kyan, Jack. You know who you guys are. I have not seen I have not seen the three of you collectively or individually in quite some time, I don't keep up with you guys as much as I would like because I miss you guys every day dearly. You are, gosh, you are some of the best friends anyone could ever have. And you guys, of course, have helped me out a lot with voice recording and stuff. So, I may have to stop and edit this later. Jump cut. You guys have been so helpful, and you've always, you've just been great friends, and I can't thank you guys enough because of that. And I hope that someday soon we can get together and maybe finish Prentice1215 Friends Play Minecraft, because that was so much fun to do. I skipped over that in my kind of overview, but Prentice1215's Play Minecraft was a really fun thing to do because it actually gave me an opportunity to play with my friends for a bit. So I don't know if we'd have to do that remotely or if we could maybe get that together and do that in person, but I want to finish that up someday. So hopefully we can do that someday in the future. Just do a quick finale, go to the Nether, just have another hour and a half of fun. Hopefully we can do that. So thank you guys for everything. Next, Madison, you are my best friend. I love you to death. You, besides my parents and Jake and Jack, you were one of the only people that were ever supportive of me during middle school, during high school. The last three people I just mentioned, I miss you every day. I think of you every day. You mean so much to me, and you have helped me through so much, and have pushed me to keep going. And sometimes I felt like you're my only supporter, because not to talk ill of Jake, and Jack, but they're not slaves to their telephones. And I do respect them for that. In this age where everyone's always on their mobile device, and it's like people don't even call anymore. They're just always on their mobile device. They're very much just like, forget this. I'm going to go into the woods on my own for a half hour. It's like, I highly respect them for that. But Madison, you have always made the time for me, and that has meant so much. And so I can't thank you enough for that, and for, of course, lending your voice to these silly little projects of mine. And just, words can't express how much I appreciate you. So thank you for that. And I miss you a lot. Oh gosh. It's a cliche that I told myself I wouldn't cry. I'm going to try not to, but gosh, 10 years. I still can't believe that. Oh boy. Next, I'm going to move on to the PlayStation, the TTV PlayStation Network fan community. You guys know who you are. I'm just going to rattle off a couple names really quick. Coca-Cola, Sushi Yoda, Meaty Flavor, Pilacar now, who's recently joined us, and then others who I may not play with you every time, but I've played with you before, and so I thank you for joining us for that. You guys have been a blast to play games with. There's been some really fun discussions and conversations and some really funny moments. There's a playlist with all of those on my channel, so if you haven't watched those and you want to laugh, you can go through and watch the highlights. And then we've been streaming the last couple months, and then so most of the streams have timestamps for the interesting bits. So thank you guys for joining me for those, and for Loka especially, living in Sweden, abiding, getting up at like 3 a.m. in the morning to play with us Americans here. I thank you guys for. Sometimes I feel like I try to push people out of the way and be the center of attention. It may just be that I may be completely wrong about that, but sometimes if someone's trying to give their opinion and I'm like, no, here's my opinion, and it's the only opinion that, so I feel like I do that. I may be wrong, and I may not do that, but thank you guys for putting up with me in those instances where I feel like I've yelled over you in cases like that. You guys have been a blast to play with, and I look forward to our future playing together. Another big thank you I have is for my entire cast of Bionicle Reiterated. You guys are amazing. I don't think I'm going to really get emotional over this, just because of the absolute profound joy I have for each and every one of you. When I started Bionicle Reiterated, I knew I needed to get a cast of actual people and not just me doing all the voices like I do with a lot of my other stuff, because of the various characters that exist in the Bionicle world, namely the girl characters. Golly is a girl, there's no changing that. It would be kind of weird if Golly was running around and Reiterated and she had, you know, like, me trying to sound like this. It's all, oh, we are Toho, you know, we must save... No, that wouldn't work. So I knew I had to get a cast, and for those of you that auditioned or I approached and you very graciously agreed to be a part of it, thank each and every one of you. There's so many of you, I can't even go, it would take forever to go through a list of names. I'm just going to see if I can name a couple off the top of my head. LJ Johnson from the TTV channel, of course, a big thank you to him for being Liwa. You are my Liwa. I still can't believe that I've got one of these big figures in the Bionicle community as part of my silly little project. Jitil, crazy that we live in the same place. That's a whole crazy story. We met online. Turns out we live in the same small town in Missouri. So what are the odds of that? You are great as all of the Stone characters. Again, that's not something we planned. It's just something that happened. You've become all the Stone characters. And you've made some really great art for Reiterated Season 2. I can't wait for you guys. That's one of the reasons I'm excited for Season 2, is that you get to see his great art for the backgrounds and stuff. It's not my crummy Microsoft Paint doodles, as Meso referred to it on when they were talking about Reiterated on the TTV podcast. It's a lot better than just that. So thank you to those two. Raptor Talon, you are great as Tahu. You are now the definitive Tahu, in my opinion. Whenever I think of Tahu, I hear your voice. Of course, you're great as a Kimu and Skull Slicer as well. Clinda for being the girl character, because I needed someone. LJ pointed me in your direction, and thank you so much for being Golly. I hope you've been enjoying it. There's a whole bunch of others I could name, but we're really getting into the weeds now. If you're a part of Bionicle Reiterated, I'm starting to not be able to talk. If you're a part of Bionicle Reiterated in any way, shape, or form, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I feel like we're doing Bionicle as a brand justice with our retelling and doing it right. I think that's pretty much it. He won't be watching this, but thank you to Samson, my dog. He's a dog. He's a man's best friend. He's quite the interesting little critter. He brings me so much joy, just in the silly little way he mooches for food, or he doesn't want to get off the couch when it's time to go to bed. And he's been around just a little longer than the YouTube channel. And he's always been a lot of fun to have around. So whenever I've been stressed out working on a project or whatever, I've always found a lot of joy just sitting down on the couch and having him napping next to me and just being able to pet him. So thank you to Samson for just bringing me just a little bit of joy whenever I need it. So I didn't cry. I got close a couple times, but I didn't cry. That's going to pretty much be it for this video. I said I didn't want it to be too long. It ends up, where are we at, a half hour? Yeah, 33 minutes. I may trim it up a little bit for those segments where I got a little teary and I had to stop for a moment. 10 years, wow, that's... The channel has not been anywhere near as successful as I thought it would be, or not even... as I hoped it would be when I started out. It's not that I want to be famous. I want people to see and enjoy I'm a storyteller. I want them to enjoy my stories, especially with Bionicle Reiterated. And that's why I want the channel to be big, not because I want everyone to know me. I want people to enjoy these stories, especially in the current climate we are, where everyone seems to disagree over this and that. When politics can drive families apart, and discussion over Star Wars The Last Jedi, when a Star Wars film can cause so much divisiveness, if I could bring a little bit of joy to someone, then then I feel like I will have done a job. I will have done a good job. And that's what this YouTube channel has been about, is trying to bring joy to people that maybe need to take a break for 20 minutes from work or whatever and watch a Lego stop motion about these characters doing whatever, whether they be from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, or be they from the time before time on a mystic island with elemental powers and they're all robots. Whatever it be. If I've brought you joy in the last 10 years, then I'm very glad about that, and thank you for being here. I kind of said it in the making of TF vs. LSW video, because ending TF vs. LSW was a big deal. I'm just a little bit shy of 1,200 subscribers. I wish I had a lot more than that, but for those of you that are fans, that do watch my stuff regularly, I thank you to all of you. I wouldn't be here where I am without the people I thanked earlier, but I sure as heck wouldn't be here without you, because if I uploaded, I don't know if I would have made it 10 years if I uploaded a video and it's just like one view, and it's just me because I'm clicking on it to put it on, to announce on Twitter that I've uploaded a video, and that's where the one views come from. I don't know if I'd still be doing this today. I probably would have quit a long time ago, but every show I do has had an audience of some sort, even if it's only like 9 of you. So if you've ever enjoyed anything I've done on the channel, then thank you. I hope you've been enjoying your time here. I hope you're a subscriber. And, well, I don't think there's anything else to say, but here's to another 10 years. I'm a junior in college. That's a scary thought. I was in 6th grade. Yeah, 6th grade when I started this. I'm now a junior in college. Next year I will be a senior, and then from there I don't know where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do. That's still kind of a mystery. So, I know what I'd like to do, but whether I get to do that is a big old question mark. So we'll see there. We'll see how things pan out in the future. But something no matter what I end up doing in the future, I hope I will always be here uploading content for whoever wants to watch it. So just 10 years. Wow. Just thank you so much for anyone who has been here for a year, 2 years, 5 years. If you've been a subscriber for 5 years or more, however long, thank you all so much. Here's to another 10 years of Dazzling Pictures. Wow. So it's not a YouTube video without doing the typical YouTuber thing. So remember to like, comment, subscribe. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.